I have 5 steps that really speak to the success of the Post-it note theory, and I'm going to make a zine about it today, so that will be fun. Hello my friend, thank you for being here. Hopefully you've seen my previous video about the Post-it note challenge and how you can show up and start creating your regular art habit using just a Post-it note. One of the cool things about drawing for 100 days in a row was discovering that when I start with a Post-it note and that helps me to just get going, that eventually I noticed that I started using that mentality in other areas of my life. So not just with my creative practice. And a lot of people have asked, well, what does that look like? How does it affect the rest of your life? I want to talk a little bit about the Post-it note theory and why that works. I guess the reason for having the Post-it note theory, where essentially what it is having minimal effort. What's the baseline minimal effort that you can do to show up and start doing whatever it is that you're working on? Like a line drawing on a Post-it note is the beginning of your creative practice for however long. But I want to acknowledge that it's so hard to start. Even when you love it, even when it's something you really want to do, it is hard to start. And one of the reasons is because we all insist on this exhausting, fast-paced life that we live in society these days, and we're all just exhausted and bone tired, and there is a place and time when you want to scroll on the couch, burned out, and not do any creative stuff or any content making or whatever it is. That's fine. Please have compassion for yourself because there is a time and place for that. But it's unfulfilling, right? When you do it long term. We want to be able to achieve our goals and create something and express ourselves authentically. And that could be writing a book or reading a book, starting an exercise program, whatever it is. The Post-it note theory can help with that. So essentially, the idea behind the Post-it note theory is minimal effort. It's taking a goal that you have, that you want to achieve, whatever that is, what is the smallest action that you can take that's the first step towards that goal. Amy McNee from Inspired to Write also talks about this minimal effort to showing up. And I really admire what she talks about. I think there's a podcast on that at some stage, but it's something that's also really helped me because it doesn't always have to be this huge fanfare. We don't always have to have hours and hours of time to achieve our goals or create or express ourselves. Actually 1 minute or actually 5 minutes, whatever it is, whatever you've got is better than nothing. Because I was in the nothing camp. I definitely prefer to do nothing, or it's easier to do nothing, right? So some ways I apply this minimal effort to the goals I have in my life are, I want to be a reader. I want to be someone who reads books. I think it's cool. I think it makes you smart and opens your mind to other worlds or other words, new perspectives from different people. But I would rather scroll on TikTok. It's my secret shame. So I try and commit to reading 1 sentence of a book. And I know that's so small, but it works because I'm telling myself, hey, it's okay. You don't have to read the whole book. You don't even have to read a whole chapter. You can just take that 1 sentence and read 1 sentence and you have read something today. You've read a book today. Check you out. That is awesome. You are a reader. It works. It does something to my inside ego. I'm like, yeah, okay, thanks. Yeah, I am a reader. You're right. So that would be the smallest action. But the next step is to make sure that I've put the book somewhere where I'm going to fall over it in my normal everyday routine. My dog is snoring again. I'm sorry. I can't edit out her snores. So if you know your best time of day to read, maybe it's not right before bed. Maybe it's not right when you're really sleepy and you cannot be bothered opening a book because you're just going to fall asleep. Maybe do it in the morning or in the afternoon. Maybe you read a sentence of your book before you open Instagram. Just a thought, just a challenge. And then social media can be your reward. I have to reward myself. Another thing I do is I wanted to walk more. So I use the minimal effort in exercise. And that looks like saying to myself, all right, well, let's just incorporate a 10-minute walk after you have a meal, after lunch. So I have my lunch and then I just go for a 10-minute walk. I put a timer on because 10 minutes is actually not that long, and I barely get around my block, and 10 minutes is well over. Like, it's usually a 15-minute walk. But that's the beauty of it, because once you're out doing the thing, you're more than likely to carry on. But you have only said just do 10 minutes. So you can bail after 10 minutes, and that is fine. You have still achieved. You're not a failure. So the steps with the exercise was deciding what I wanted, to walk more, coming up with the smallest action, 10-minute walk, and then put it into my existing life. Okay, we're going to do a 10-minute walk after lunch. I always have lunch and I have time after lunch, or I have my lunch at the beginning of lunch, and make sure that I have 10 minutes afterwards before I have to go back to work. Then I'm only saying that I'm going to do 10 minutes. So what we're doing is time boxing it. We're committing to a limited amount of time so we know exactly when we are going to start and when we are going to finish, so that we know when we have achieved our goal for that day. 10 minutes is up, achieved. When the final step that I find really helpful is to track your progress. I like to have things on the wall so I can see everything that I've done, but you might like a star chart, you might like something that you tick off, you might like to have a calendar, a physical calendar that you tick off every day when you've done it, and you can see, wow, actually the weeks add up, the days add up, and you're doing it, you're actually doing it. Minimal effort on really, really hard days when I struggle to get out of bed can look like, okay, I'm going to get dressed, and dress in nice clothes, not just slouchy clothes. And sometimes even getting dressed can feel like a real chore. Like, if I'm working from home and I'm not going to be seeing anybody that day, what is the point? I don't need to get dressed. I don't need to zhuzh anything up. I don't want to. But I know that makes me feel blah. It makes me feel yuck and worse, and it won't be helpful for the day. So get dressed, Rhiannon. But one of the things that does help me with that minimal effort is to put a song on. So I'm time boxing it. I'm making it fun. I'm also kind of making it a challenge. Like, I have to get dressed within the space of this song. I don't know, the song, how long is the song? 2 minutes? 3 minutes? And it really puts not the pressure on, but kind of makes it into a fun game where I've got that time to get dressed. And then the song is finished, I've enjoyed the song, I'm dressed, and I'm ready for the day. I'm like, yeah, okay. Bonus, if you can make it an upbeat, fun song that you really like, and it's lifting you up first thing in the morning. So one of my goals has been to show up for YouTube and start expressing my ideas and my thoughts and share them with you and add value to your life, right? And I still find this really hard. I still really struggle, and I notice that I avoid it. And that's not conducive with achieving the goal. So when I apply the Post-it note theory of minimal effort, it can look like this. So I've got my goal, which is to show up regularly on YouTube and build a community of like-minded, lovely people who get value from what I'm saying. There's the goal. That's massive and scary and hard, right? How can I make that a minimal effort goal? What's the smallest amount I can do? And for me, that is just showing up on a certain day of the week that I know works for me and Every time I have an idea for a video, I write it down and capture it in the moment so that when I do show up, I have something to say. I also time box it. So I have a day in my calendar that I know works for me and a time when I am going to commit to sitting down and showing up. The next step is I put it into my existing life, so I don't have the opportunity to lock it away in a room where I won't see it and just keep avoiding it. I have put my setup in the lounge where I see it every day and I go past it all the time. And I have my camera all set up ready to go, and I have my art on the walls that inspires me to keep creating. It keeps showing me my progress and showing me or reflecting back to me that, hey, I am showing up and I am continuing to make progress. And that in itself is motivating. So that kind of covers putting it into existing life and putting it into a way that I can track it. So those are some really small examples as to what I've done in terms of bringing the Post-it note theory into other areas of life. Okay, let's create a zine about it. If you don't know what a zine is, it's a mini magazine. It's a small self-made book that can be about absolutely anything. They've been around for a few decades and were used a lot in the 80s for like protest or punk material. It's a way of people being able to get their message out in a really cheap DIY way. And I love them because they're such an expression of individuality. You're not having to go through print houses or a whole team of people that need you to change things about your book. It's just you and your expression with your message, and pen and paper and glue and drawing and whatever you want it to be. It's so fun. So to make a zine, I'm just going to take this piece of paper and fold it in half. Hello, little one. My sweetheart. And in half again. My sweet little one, what are you doing? You can kind of see the fold lines. So now we're going to fold into the main fold line. And again on the other side. So you can kind of see 8 different pages, which are going to be pages of our zine. So with a pencil, I'm just going to mark out which ones are going to be our covers, our ends, and page numbers. So the cover actually starts here, and this will be the end. So our front and our back. Then we will do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 by the time we fold it. Now what we need to do is to cut from here to here, so along this line, so that we have a hole. So now I'm going to fold it into the pages that we need. So with the hole in the middle, we need to turn it into kind of this shape, whatever this shape is called, like so. Look for our cover and our end and fold those over it. So you've got your cover and your end folding over. And just fold it all down. So then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the end. And then if you want, you can delete these off so we can start creating our book. And there you have it, small waves of action. They lead to big wins. Number 1, first decide what you want to achieve, e.g. read more. Number 2, start with the smallest action towards it, such as reading a sentence a day. Number 3, put it somewhere where you'll see it within your existing routine in life. Book by the jug, coffee maker, so you can read it while you're waiting. Number 4, give yourself a time limit. 5 minutes of reading, for example, or doing it on a specific day. And number 5, track your progress with a visible chart. Tick, 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 tick. So fun. Finn. Thank you for watching, my friend. I'm so grateful that you're here. If you want to get the zine to print for yourself, it's going to be down below for free. And thank you for all your likes and comments. They're so beautiful and encouraging. And if you are new here, then please like and subscribe, because it really helps me to know that I'm adding even a little bit of value to your day with this video, and that really means the world to me. Now I have to do cleaning. What's the minimal effort for cleaning? Get the vacuum cleaner out somewhere where I have to trip over it and do it.